For June, give me all of the thrillers. Bonus points if they are summer vibes in there. Hello, beautiful people. In this video, I'm going to share with you everything I am planning to read this June. I basically only want to read thrillers, spooky stuff. That is just generally my vibe in the summer. I don't know what it is. If you are new to my channel, hello, I am April. You can think of me as your bookish fairy godmother. On this channel, my goal is to hook you up with your next 5-star read. And these are just a few of the 5-star reads that live rent-free in my head. If you like what you see, I hope you'll subscribe, hit the bell, stay a while. We should discuss the books that are carrying over from May. First up is I Died on a Tuesday, and it's the first book I've read by this author. She seems to write mystery books. I would not say this is giving me thriller vibes, much more mystery. This follows a young woman named Janie. She is about to embark on her college endeavors when she is struck by a car and left for dead. The police have not been able to figure out who ran this young woman down in the street until 20 years later when a rock star is actually charged. And he says, yes, I have done this, and goes to jail. But is there more to the story? And you kind of uncover it from there. I'm enjoying it thus far. I will let you know what I think in my June wrap. I'm also reading The Butcher, which is a really fun, very gritty story about a man who is moving into his grandfather's house. His grandfather has passed his house down to his grandson when he's decided it's time for him to go into a retirement living home. When his grandson decides to do some renovations, get some landscaping done, he stumbles upon something that suggests he doesn't know his grandfather very well. He has stumbled upon a locked box buried in the backyard, and inside he discovers some secrets that absolutely boggle his mind and make him rethink his whole life, and he doesn't know what to do with it. Does he try to keep this secret a secret, or does he bring it out into the open? It's very much gritty. If you like Karen Slaughter, I would say Karen Slaughter is much grittier than this is, but it has very similar vibes to Pretty Girls. Next up is A Road Trip Gone Wrong. This is Murder Road by Simone St. James. It follows April and Eddie in July 1995. They are having a little road trip for their honeymoon, and it doesn't go well. They are on a particular road where apparently a lot of people have gone missing. They don't know that. They're from out of town. They stumble upon a woman who looks like she's in trouble. They decide to pick her up, and soon after they pick her up, they realize that she's bleeding terribly. The police start to investigate this couple, and they realize that there's this very long history of people going missing. They don't know why the police are interested in them, but they somehow get thrown into the mix of this mystery in this small town, and it just sounds so fun. I love that it takes place in July. Road trip vibes, perfect for this time of year. Next is a true crime / biography book called The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. I don't know if you've ever heard about Ruby Frankie. She's kind of been all over the news. There have been several documentaries done about her. She had a really big YouTube channel called 8 Passengers, and it followed her basically raising 6 kids with her husband. And the police discovered that she had actually been abusing her children, as in locking them up, not allowing them to eat. There have been a whole bunch of things that have come to light about how she treated her children. And this book is written by her daughter who survived that abuse, and it is in her own words. And so I would definitely like to read this. I have a hold at my library to listen to the audio. I really like to listen to the audio of these things because usually it's narrated by the authors themselves. So I would like to hear Sherry's experience. Next is a book called Don't Believe It by Charlie Dunley. I've heard a lot about Charlie Dunley as an author, and I have a couple of his books. This one is on my Kobo. This book is about a very famous true crime case, fictional in this case, called The Girl of Sugar Beach. It's the most watched documentary in television history, and it follows a young woman who is accused and convicted of murdering her boyfriend on spring break. This woman, Grace, has spent, I believe, 10 years in prison. And we have a documentary filmmaker coming in to really look at the case again with fresh eyes. Her name is Sydney, and as she's going through the evidence, she discovers that some really critical evidence was overlooked in that first trial, and she brings this to light in, I think, a podcast or a documentary. That revelation to the public has really created public outcry. People are convinced that Grace is actually innocent and want Grace free. Stay in the Light is next by A.M. Shine. This is the sequel to The Watchers, which is one of my favorite horror books now. It's very much like Irish folklore horror, and I don't want to dive into what this sequel is about, so I'll tell you what The Watchers is about. It follows a woman who is oddly transporting a parrot to its new location, its new owner, and she has to go through the Irish countryside, which is very much in the middle of nowhere, and her car breaks down and she has to get out and try to find help. She brings the bird along and she stumbles upon a kind of bunker and sees a woman out there screaming at her, get inside quickly. And so she starts running, and the woman locks the door behind her, the bunker door, and it becomes very apparent that there's something out there in the woods watching the people in the bunker. Very disturbing, so much fun to read. So there is a sequel, and I want to read it desperately. So I'd love to get to that in June. A little bit of nostalgia. I want to read some Fear Street, but some Fear Street that I didn't read as a kid. I used to read like tons of R.L. Stine Fear Street stuff. Now, he also wrote Goosebumps, but I didn't read that as a kid. I think I was too old. I think he started with Fear Street and then did Goosebumps, but I could be wrong. Maybe I just missed that part. In any case, I downloaded Fear Hall: The Beginning, and this takes place at a campus and follows a young college freshman named Hope, and she and her roommates are moving into this dorm, I believe, and her boyfriend is moving into like an all boys dorm, but it's like right below, so they like every floor there's a girls floor and a boys floor, and then of course murders start happening. And that just sounds great to me. I just would love a little nostalgia. I'm slightly nervous that it's going to like ruin the fond spot in my heart that I have for the Fear Street stuff, but I think it will be fun. Next, I'd really like to read Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I'd like to read this before his next book comes out, which I think is sometime in June. So this follows two kids, Ethan and also Billy. They are best friends. It is summer. They've decided to camp out in Ethan's backyard. And one night, that they're having their little camping session, Billy goes missing and is never found again. And Ethan is, of course, devastated by this. This is slightly traumatizing for a 10-year-old kiddo, I imagine. And he's left this small town and kind of moved on with his life, but something brings him back to his small town, and he starts to see things in his backyard, like kind of evidence that Billy might be there. Is he there? Is he still alive? Is he haunting him? Is someone playing a trick on him? I don't know. I just think this sounds so cozy for summer. It takes place in July. Yes. Another book that has summer vacation gone wrong vibes is Diavola. This is horror though. This follows a family who go to, I think, Italy and like rent a little villa in Italy together. Now, naturally, there are complications in the family in terms of family dynamics. So it takes a while before the family members realize there's an unsettling presence at this villa that is not the presence of the other family members. I just think this sounds perfect. The cover is terrifying. And I need some of this in my life. I've been meaning to read this like all last year, all last summer I meant to read this. We can't make that happen again. We can't have this sitting on my TBR all summer. So we're gonna get to it in June. And last but not least is another horror called Fantasticland, which sounds bizarre and fantastic. It's got some found footage vibes where you discover that this Fantasticland, which is a bit of an amusement park, is very much a very popular attraction to this town. Now, the power has gone out or something along the lines where the people at this theme park have lost access to everyone else. And something terrible has happened at Fantasticland while they have not had the ability to connect with the outside world. And so we have the police coming in to what happened at Fantasticland and kind of working their way backwards to discover who ended up basically coming and tearing everyone apart at Fantasticland. It sounds gruesome. And it's apparently got like Battle Royale meets Lord of the Flies vibes, which sounds incredible to me. And when I think of amusement parks, I always think of summer. So those are all of the books that I intend to read in June. It's quite a lot. I don't know if I'm being too ambitious here, but I'll get to as many as I can. Let me know in the comments below, what books are you feeling like picking up this June? Are you like me, where like this time of year comes around and all you want to do is read not necessarily popcorn thrillers, but just books that like are super fun to get through, have those summer vibes? I would love to know. I will talk with you very soon. Goodbye.